Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy you're here. Today's video is amazing books for the little animal lovers in your life. So these are mostly true stories that were documented by humans because the animals couldn't write them, but they are true stories about animals and either animal rescue or just unique experiences with animals. These are for anywhere from about 4 to 8. But just truthfully, I was reading these books out loud to my kids, and my 12-year-old was sitting there enjoying the stories just as much as my 7-year-old. So I think it's for all ages, but the book's levels are probably about the listening age of 4 to 8 years old. So the very first one I have to talk about is the Dolphin Rescue and the Dolphin Treasure. Oh, sorry, it's Dolphin Adventure. Dolphin Adventure and Dolphin Treasure. Now, these are by the same author, and this is a sequel to this one. So in this book, he goes diving, and he comes across a family of dolphins. Oh, this is totally a spoiler if you don't want to know, but if you want to know so you can see if your kids would like it, I'll tell you. Okay, so Dolphin Adventure, he goes out diving. He finds a family of dolphins, and the little one is tied up in a fishing net, and he ends up rescuing the dolphins, and the dolphins help rescue him too. I won't go into all that because I don't want to give it all away, but it's a really fun story. Dolphin Treasure, he goes back diving. It's years later, and he's actually kind of befriended the dolphin and the family of dolphins. So he goes back, and it's kind of a little bit of a reverse situation with Dolphin Treasure. The dolphin, I mean, you can tell from the photo, but the dolphins rescue him this time. So it's a really good book. Both of them are really sweet, and they're inspired by true events. So I think that they were enjoyable for that reason. It really brought the dolphins to life. It just makes you realize how smart and how caring they can be. And I love dolphins. Got to swim with them sort of in Hawaii, not super up close because they were pretty far out there. I'm not that good of a swimmer to swim that far, but dolphins are beautiful creatures, and in this book it shows really how sweet and caring they can be too. So it was a really good read. I may have teared up a little bit, just a little. Okay, so the next one for little animal lovers is this whole series by Colleen Copeland. Now, she is an author. She lived very close to where I grew up in Oregon. So she lived about 40 minutes away from me, and I actually got to have her add the author's signature on all these books. And these are not the whole series, so I am missing the first one I found. I can't find it anywhere, so I'm going to buy that. But this is the sequel. And book 3, book 4, book 6, I believe. This whole series started out with Priscilla, who was an indoor pig, and I think that's become kind of more popular now, but at the time of writing this, that was not a common thing. And Priscilla has so many adventures. Colleen Copeland does such a good job of just telling the story kind of from Priscilla's point of view, and it's a really, really precious story. And then this one takes off years later after Priscilla had died, and the true story is that Priscilla was a real pig, and Colleen really did really care about her, and it took her about 7 years before she could even write the sequel because she was so sad. She didn't even want to continue, but she did, and she told about Prissy, who is Priscilla's daughter. So I do recommend these books. I think they're great stories for children, and this is told from Prissy's perspective, which I think is always really fun. It's kind of an imaginative experience, and you're getting to be in the role of the animal. So this one is about Priscilla, and then Piston and the Porkers, Potsy, and Mystery in the Farrowing Barn. And they're all just a little bit different, but they're all really good books for little animal lovers, for sure. Okay, stick around because the last book's my favorite. I loved that book. But this one is James Harriet's Treasury, and I talked about this in my video with my son, what we were reading for kindergarten this year, because this came with his kindergarten curriculum. But this is such a good book for little animal lovers. Oh my goodness, it's such a good book. It has so many good stories. One of my favorites is about Moses, a kitten. So if you don't know, James Harriet was a vet, and he tells stories about his experiences. So he got to be a witness to a lot of different adventures. I just love getting to hear about the different unique experiences with some of the different animals. So he was on his way, just like a house call, to a farm, and he found a little cat, Moses, and he brought him in, and then Moses and the farmer and his wife were able to essentially revive him because he was very weak, and then he ended up being raised you can't see very well here, but right here you can see him. He was actually nursing from the mommy pig, and then he kind of like just grows up with them, and he ends up just being like one of her little piglets, and it's super adorable. And I guess that she was like really sweet and friendly and loved on him and would just like nudge him around, treated him like one of her little pigs. So this is a really fun story, but they're all of these are just full of really sweet, endearing animal stories. And of course the illustrations are beautiful, but the stories are really good too, and I think that any little children that love animals would love this book. So last but not least is the 5 True Dog Stories. Now, so this has 5 different stories, obviously, and they were all really good and really different. So the first one was about a German Shepherd who is like a police dog, and in 15 years he was able to solve over 400 crimes. That's amazing. That's a pretty good record. So that was the first story. The second story was about a dog that was a thief, but basically it talks about like how incredibly well trained he was, and he was like a really good dog. Here are wonderful stories about real dogs. Doc, the greatest dog detective in the world. Grip, the dog who was a thief. Wolf, the dog who saved other dogs. Barry, the dog who saved people. He was my favorite. And Balto, the dog who saved a gnome. But yeah, Barry was my favorite. Barry's a St. Bernard in Switzerland, and he saved people in the mountains, and you should get this book and read all about him. That was my short list of books for little animal lovers in your life. Thanks for watching today's video. Be sure to let me know if you guys have any other good life-saving animal stories. I think animal stories, especially animals like saving people, they really touch me really like deeply. I just love them. I love pets. I love animals, but I love those kinds of stories, and I love just stories of like love and care with animals. So if you know of any, be sure to like comment below and tell me, because I want to read them for sure, 100%. So thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.